So you both star in Aftermath as rivals. Can you tell us a little bit about your characters?
My name's Mason. I play Romeo, who is kind of the revenge-addled, obsessed veteran that was feels as if he was wronged by the U.S. government after the service him and his brothers in arms took place in. He felt disregarded in a way that motivated him to find the justice for himself that he felt he was owed. The methods by which are kind of where he gets the villain moniker, because I don't necessarily think it's morally admissible to take over the Tobin Bridge and threaten the lives of about 1,500 people. But listen, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I like to think Romeo thought he was doing one of those greater good sort of rationales for himself. Aside from that, he's very physically fit. He's
He's
very,
hot as hell.
very dominant stature, very tall.
Yeah.
These are all things that you understand and
He's
just
got ripped, dude. Ripped.
so I mean, but so is Eric. So really, this movie's not hurting for strapping young men in its runtime.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's there to say about Eric? So Eric is a former Army Ranger who kind of gets wrapped into becoming the hero to save this bridge from the terrorist attack that is going on it from Romeo and his gang, all while trying to save his little sister and battle his own demons during this. And so it is a very fun action movie that reminds me a lot of kind of the older 90s action movies. Good time, grab a beer, grab the boys, sit down, watch a good action movie.
And how did you both prepare for your roles after being casted in the film?
I just had a photo of Dylan up on my wall, and I was just, oh, I don't like that
That guy
guy. Ooh.
threw darts at it.
That and I guess watching movies that I feel this movie was kind of inspired by. I didn't think to ask for a specific list, but Die Hard was an easy one. I checked that out. A lot of Romeo's mannerisms were incited by John Bernthal, just generally. He's got a very domineering presence. So specifically in The Walking Dead, he does this thing where every time he squats down to like look at something or do something, he pulls on his pants. It's very like cool and intense.
A
And
cool guy move.
yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move. Sometimes you gotta borrow, you know.
I think when you're playing former military, there is some level of speaking to former military that you must do. So I spoke to my father, who was a former Navyman, as well as we were surrounded on set by a bunch of veterans and former SEALs, and in general, it was just the environment facilitated knowing exactly what that looks like, and even in terms of holding yourself in body posture. I think that that's a pretty important thing to remember during all that. So that was like primarily it, while also trying to kind of tackle. I know, Eric has PTSD in throughout the movie, and you can see that through several scenes. But we wanted to make sure that the PTSD looked like it was a transitional period for him rather than just like sum up his character. So we wanted to make it look like it was a healing journey, which while still being a movie and entertainment value. So I think we accomplished that, and it was. And so I really like this character, Eric. They told me I needed to shave my beard and mustache again, though, which really upset me because I do still stand by the thought that Eric should have a mustache and beard. But that's on them.
That's okay. We can CGI that one in and post. That's fine. Once the movie
That
comes
worked
out,
great for Cavill that one time. I don't think I'm going to do
no, don't
that.
worry about it. TikTok will be all over it. We'll get that editing and
Photoshop it in.
easy, easy.
Oh, what was it like working on this film together and also working with the rest of your castmates for this film?
Well, that's actually, I'm so glad you got to bring that up because I realize this is the first time I've gotten to mention an aspect of that question that I would love to touch on. So Dylan is not only a professional in every sense of the word, but he's also one of the most compassionate and thoughtful people I know. He's incredibly insightful. I feel as if talking to him does feel as if I'm talking to an older brother that has nothing but the most involved and interesting ways of looking at things. But I also met another dear friend of mine on set. His name's Tanner Zagarino, who was friends with Dylan prior to filming, and he plays one of my cronies, one of my goons. He's a
My
goon,
goons.
and the three of us would go out either after or before or over weekends, and I created and found relationships that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And that I think is my favorite part about my job. I think the acting portion literally only happens for maybe like an hour a day between action and cut, depending on the day. So the rest of it has to be about how you relate to other people and how you consider them and how they consider you. And Aftermath gave me some of the best friends I could ask for. So for that, I'm eternally grateful. Yeah,
Yeah.
follow that up, Dylan.
Yeah, similarly, I think whether it's we're speaking to the two that are in front of you, whether it's Mason and I, or whether it's like Deechin or Megan or anyone that we worked with, I think everyone really pulled up and made this thing that was just very gratifying and very fun and super professional the whole time. Mason and I were previously friends before this. Mason had worked on a movie with Cole, my brother, and so I had known about him. So I knew going in that like being similar kind of geek and anime head and all of these things were going to create a very fun on-set choreography environment too. It's kind of what you're always hoping for when you do, especially like hand-to-hand stuff. You really want to make sure that you are working with someone who not only sees it as something that they're like aesthetically, I really want this to look awesome and professional and true to the nature of hand-to-hand fighting for SEALs or former Rangers or military, but also looks at it as like a play space, which it really is, and where they can improvise and have fun and I think in doing so we created something really cool. I was also astonished by the fact that Mason would eat a whole rotisserie chicken a day as well as like 14 protein bars. I was like, I don't even know how you do that.
You gotta get your macros in any way you can. I don't do that anymore, but I did do that
You
back.
don't? What
No,
changed?
I can't. It's not healthy.
A whole rotisserie chick, dude?
No, I had to cut that out. That was, oh my God. Yeah, that was tough.
I
But
mean,
now
you got that protein.
I got that. Well, I still, eat ground turkey, but can't do the chicken.
Studio City's farmer market, by the way, great ground turkey salad there.
See?
Oh.
And
Look, now
bison.
I'm learning things. Thank you, Caroline. This is great.
You're welcome. Have you shown Cole or any of your family members the movie yet?
What's funny is that when I was reading through this character and we were filming the movie, I was like, this is a movie that I'm really excited to make for my dad. This is like my dad's perfect movie, right? Where he just like sits, he has like maybe a glass of tequila on the couch, and he's like, I just want to see veterans fuck shit up. I'm like, that's awesome. So I think he has not seen it yet, but I think he's going to be really excited about this one, especially because he also knows Mason. So I think he's going to be, and Tanner to that point. So he's going to be very excited to see us all kick the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Cole has not seen this one yet. He's hard to nail down. You never know where he's wiggling around off to. So
Right. Or what he likes, if he would like a movie.
what he likes. Of course, my wife has seen it, and she's sitting on the couch right now saying, yeah.
Oh,
So Barbara's.
Babs. What are we? Oh, Babs.
So she's seen
Yeah.
it. And I remember at one point she looked at me. This is how I know I did a great job. She looks at me and she goes, "Ooh, you're hot here." And I was like, "That's why I do it. I do it for you, babe."
Yeah, and then you immediately ruined it by going, "Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
stop."
Do you both have a favorite memory or scene from the film?
Oh yeah, the kiss scene was big for me.
Wait, they didn't film that part.
Like breaking news, kissing scene.
No, so I know what Dylan's gonna say, so I'll try and be unique here and say the bit where Dylan and Megan ride a motorcycle through an inferno is maybe the most badass thing I've seen. I loved it. That whole sequence is rad. Dylan?
Also, like it wasn't it was obviously all green screen. So you
You
had
can't
to
tell though.
see.
You can't
Thank
tell.
you. Nice. By the
Yeah.
way, all for every nice thing that you've said about me, I'm going to send you that Venmo you asked for. So
Yeah, no, as long as that payment clears, then we are good, dude. We are
yeah,
so
I'm letting you know it's on its way. Favorite scene was for sure Mason and I's hand-to-hand fight scene with the knives. It's always awesome. And we just kept going faster and faster until the director told us that we're going too fast, which I feel like is actually the best compliment you can get.
oh yeah.
It is a good compliment. How did your characters or work on Aftermath compare or differ to your previous roles?
Well, none of my other roles had Dylan. Is the no I think Romeo's maybe the most not selfish, but he's motivated by his interior desires more so than I think any character I had played. I think a level of compassion has been afforded by characters I've played aside from him. I think I like to think of my brain as a hotel in which all the characters I've played kind of live at. I don't know. This makes me sound like a psychopath, but I do readily access and think about characters that I've played as just kind of like existing within me. And I feel like in the hotel, Romeo is the guy that like the other characters are like, oh God, here he comes. Like, oh what? Like he's just gonna yell at me or he's gonna push me. And I think
Romeo's the mean drunk at the bar, dude.
but what's so fun about that is that's so opposite to my personality that getting to embody that felt so freeing and liberating. And that's exciting. And yeah, yeah. I hope people that know me watch. Oh, my crush watches it and she's like, "Ooh, that's very different." But I'll have to ask her.
You were kind of channeling Pooh Bear right there. That was interesting.
You're Winnie the fucking Pooh, dude.
Oh, that's very different.
Oh, oh, bother.
Oh, bother. I would say that like I wanted to try my hand at playing an action hero who is a little bit more straight-laced this time. Because I very much tend to like add comedy into everything that I do, because I have a distorted worldview and I'm a strange guy. So I do like to always make a quip or say something funny. And you know what was very funny is in ADR in Aftermath. I remember reading some of the ADR lines that they were adding in, and they were all like comedic quips. And I looked at him and I was like, guys, if you wanted me to do this, you should have just told me on set. I would have done this the entire time. But at the period when we were shooting it, the script came across as very, very straight-laced. And I think Eric is a very straight-laced guy, especially because he is dealing with trauma. And he's also, this is a very serious situation, all things given. But it was a good reminder to be like, hey, look, at the end of the day, the entertainment value of a fun action movie is based on the kind of levity that you can bring to it sometimes too. And that's why I'm also equally as excited for the second movie that Mason and I made together, in which it's a buddy cop. And there's great action in it, but there's also a lot of levity too. And so like at the end of it all, I would say that those two characters are different. I like to play characters that are different in general from every other one that I've played before. But if I could do it with a buddy like Mason, I'll keep playing different characters with Mason.
So Aftermath will be released in theaters and on demand on November 1st. What are you both looking forward to the most ahead of its release?
Forcing Dylan to watch the movie with me. It's exciting right now, but it remains to be seen. There's still time.
Yeah, I'm excited to not answer any of Mason's texts trying to force me to get.
God,
That's probably my no, I'm excited to show my there he goes. I'm excited to show my dad the movie probably. That's probably my most exciting moment because I just know he's gonna eat it up.
Oh.
I'm sure he's gonna love it.